For centuries, we have been sold a lie about what a man desires. It is a lie whispered in magazines, shouted in movies, and sold to us in 1,000 different products. The lie is that a man desires a collection of traits. He desires beauty, so we must be beautiful. He desires youth, so we must fight the clock. He desires success, so we must be accomplished. He desires an adventurous spirit, so we must be exciting. And so, women exhaust themselves in the endless and impossible project of becoming a perfect resume of desirable qualities. You work on your body, you sharpen your wit, you build your career, you cultivate interesting hobbies. You become, on paper, the perfect candidate for the job of his heart. And yet so often you are left with a profound and painful confusion. You have checked all the boxes, you have built the perfect resume, but the deep soul-level and lasting devotion you crave remains elusive. This is because of a fundamental misunderstanding. A man may be initially attracted to your resume, but he does not build his home in a resume. He builds his home in a feeling. This is the great secret that this video will reveal. A man does not fall in love with you. He does not fall in love with your beauty, your success, or your personality. He falls in love with himself in your presence. More accurately, he falls in love with the state of his own soul when he is in your energetic field. The title of this video is a profound psychological truth. A man doesn't desire a woman. He desires this feeling she gives him. This video will name and deconstruct that one single profound emotional state that is the true, unshakable source of a man's lasting devotion. This is not about learning another quality to add to your resume. It is about learning to cultivate an inner world so profound, so peaceful, and so whole that your very presence becomes the feeling he cannot live without. So what is this one feeling, this profound emotional state that is the true foundation of a man's lasting desire? It is not excitement, it is not passion, it is not the thrilling, heart-pounding intoxication of the chase. These are the waves on the surface of the ocean, beautiful and exciting, but fleeting. The feeling that a man's soul becomes addicted to is the ocean itself. It is the vast, silent, and unshakable power of the deep. The one feeling a man desires more than any other, the feeling he will build his life around, is the feeling of profound peace. Now we must immediately dismantle the great lie our culture has told us about peace. We have been conditioned to believe that peace is the opposite of passion, that it is boring, that a peaceful connection is one that lacks a spark. This is a profound misunderstanding, born from a world that is addicted to the frantic, dopamine-driven highs of chaos and drama. The peace we are speaking of is not a dull, lifeless, or passive state. It is the most powerful and potent energy in the universe. It is not the absence of passion. It is the very foundation from which all true, sustainable passion can be born. It is the deep, calm, warm water of the ocean that allows the exciting waves to dance on its surface without causing a tsunami. This is not a philosophical idea, it is a biological one. As we have discussed before, a man in the modern world lives in a state of chronic low-grade stress. His nervous system is constantly in the fight-or-flight sympathetic state. It is a state of tension, of vigilance, of performance. The feeling of peace is the physiological experience of his nervous system, finally, blessedly, shifting into the ventral vagal state of rest and connect. It is the feeling of his armor being taken off. It is the experience of his entire body, on a cellular level, exhaling. It is the feeling of coming home. A man is surrounded by things that activate his stress response, his job, his responsibilities, the news, the traffic. And often his relationships with women are also a source of stress. The stress of performance, the stress of drama, the stress of trying to meet unspoken expectations. The woman who becomes his deepest desire, the one who becomes irreplaceable, is the woman who is a source not of more stress but of profound peace. Her presence is a sanctuary. In her energetic field, his nervous system is not just calm, it is actively being healed and restored. This is the secret. A man may be temporarily thrilled by the woman who is a roller coaster, but he will be eternally devoted to the woman who is a sanctuary. He may chase the excitement, but he will build his life around the peace. Because the peace she offers him is not just a feeling. It is a reflection of the deepest and most authentic state of his own soul, a state that he can only seem to access when he is in her presence. The addiction is not to a boring, lifeless calm. It is to the profound and incredibly rare feeling of finally being able to be his truest, most unguarded self. So what is this profound peace made of? How does a woman cultivate an energy that can soothe a man's nervous system and captivate his soul? The first and most foundational ingredient is not something she does, but something she lets go of. It is the practice of offering him the rare and precious gift of no agenda. Most human interaction, especially in the world of dating, is transactional. We are on a subtle level always trying to get something. We have an agenda. It may be the agenda to be seen as beautiful or witty or intelligent. It may be the agenda to steer the conversation toward commitment. It may be the agenda to subtly fix his flaws, to mold him into the man we want him to be. Even with the best of intentions, our presence is often laced with the energy of a hidden goal. A woman with an agenda, no matter how charming, is like a salesperson disguised as a friend. A man can feel on an unconscious level that he is being sold to. He can sense that her questions are not born of pure curiosity, but are part of a strategy. He can feel that her affection is conditional upon him moving in a certain direction, and this feeling of a hidden agenda, this subtle pressure to perform or to change, is the very antithesis of peace. It keeps his nervous system on alert. It keeps his ego on the defensive. The woman who provides the feeling of profound peace has relinquished this agenda. She has embraced our core principle of seeing him as a man, not as a project. She has let go of the need to change him, to improve him, or to guide him toward a destination that she has created in her own mind. She is not in a relationship with his potential. She is in a relationship with the man who is right in front of her. This is the energy of speaking from the unneeding center. Her presence is a gift with no strings attached. She is not constantly monitoring the relationship for progress. She is not analyzing his every word for a clue about the future. She is simply and profoundly present with him in the moment, for the pure sake of the moment itself. When she asks him a question, it is because she is genuinely curious about his world, not because she is trying to lead him to a specific conclusion. When she offers her affection, it is because she is overflowing with her own inner warmth, not because she is hoping to receive something in return. This is dangerously magnetic because it is the ultimate form of acceptance. To be in the presence of a woman who has no agenda for you is to feel on a soul level that you are completely and utterly accepted for who you are, right now, in this moment. It is a profound liberation for the masculine soul, which is so often burdened by the weight of expectation. In her presence, he does not have to perform. He does not have to pretend. He can be his flawed, imperfect, and authentic self. This is the first and most crucial ingredient of the peace that he will come to crave. It is the feeling of being truly seen, without also being secretly judged. The second ingredient of the peace that he finds so addictive is a direct result of her commitment to her own inner state. It is a quality that is profoundly rare in a world that thrives on chaos and conflict. It is the gift of no drama. Let us be clear. This does not mean she is a passive or emotionless woman. As we have learned, the authentic woman is a climate, with her own sunny days and her own powerful thunderstorms. The gift of no drama is not the absence of emotion. It is the absence of unnecessary conflict. It is the refusal to participate in the ego's favorite sport, the pointless argument. A woman who has not yet done her inner work is often, without realizing it, addicted to the dopamine of drama. She is addicted to the rush of being right, to the intensity of the fight, to the dramatic makeup scene that follows. Her ego thrives in the courtroom, where she can be the prosecutor or the defendant. This creates a relationship that is a constant low-grade storm. It may be exciting in its own chaotic way, but it is also deeply and profoundly exhausting to the nervous system. The woman who embodies peace has broken this addiction. She has embraced the stoic wisdom that her inner peace is more valuable than the fleeting victory of her ego. She is not a storm. She is the quiet, unshakable eye of the hurricane. The chaos of the world may rage around her, but her own center is a place of profound calm. This is the practice of prioritizing her peace over being right. When a disagreement arises, she does not immediately go to battle. She asks herself the sovereign question, is winning this argument more important than the feeling of peace in my own body? And she has the wisdom to know that it rarely is. She has mastered the art of the calm response. She does not meet his anger with more anger. She may meet it with the quiet observation, I see that you're upset. She does not get hooked into a circular argument. She may use the broken record. As I said, this is not up for discussion. She does not allow his chaos to become her own. This is dangerously magnetic to a man because his entire world is a battlefield. He fights for status at work. He battles traffic. He navigates the conflicts of his own family and friendships. He is a soldier on a dozen different fronts. When he comes home to a woman who is a constant storm, he has simply moved from one battlefield to another. But when he comes home to the woman who is the eye of the hurricane, he has found something that does not exist anywhere else in his world, a true and lasting refuge. Her refusal to engage in drama is not a weakness, it is the ultimate sign of her strength. It communicates that her sense of self is so solid that it cannot be shaken by a petty disagreement. She is the calm, steady anchor in the chaotic sea of his life, and the feeling of peace, of being able to finally lay down his weapons and rest in her calm presence, is the second and most nourishing ingredient in the feeling he will never want to live without. We have learned that this addictive feeling of peace is made of a presence that has no agenda and an energy that has no drama. But now we arrive at the third and most crucial ingredient. It is the one that makes this peace authentic, stable, and truly unshakable. It is the gift of her own fullness. A woman can learn to pretend she has no agenda. She can learn to suppress her drama. But this is just a performance, and a man's nervous system over time will feel the inauthenticity. True, lasting peace is not a behavior a woman adopts. It is a natural byproduct of a life that is already full. Let us distinguish between conditional peace and unconditional peace. Conditional peace is the peace of the woman who is still a decorator. She feels peaceful when the relationship is going well, when he is giving her attention, when she feels secure in his love. But the moment there is a hint of distance or conflict, her peace shatters. It is a fragile, dependent peace because its source is external. Unconditional peace, the peace of the architect, is different. It is generated from within. It is the peace that comes from her deep and abiding connection to her own purpose, her own joy, and her own inner world, her sacred garden. It is a peace that exists with or without him. Think of the difference between the moon and the sun. A woman whose peace is conditional is like the moon. Her light is beautiful, but it is merely a reflection. She is borrowing her light from the sun, the man. When he is shining upon her, she is radiant. But when he turns away, when he needs his own space, her light vanishes, and she is left in darkness, waiting for his return. The woman who embodies her own fullness is the sun. She does not borrow her light, she generates it. She is a roaring, magnificent, and self-sustaining source of her own heat and her own radiance. Planets, other people, including him, are naturally drawn into her orbit by her powerful gravity and warmth, but her burning is not dependent on them. She shines whether they are there or not. This is the final and most liberating ingredient of the peace he feels with you. When he is in the presence of a woman who is her own sun, he is freed from the impossible and ultimately exhausting job of being responsible for her light. When he is with the moon, he feels the immense pressure of knowing that he is the source of her happiness. If he has a bad day, if he needs to retreat into his own cave, he feels a sense of guilt, because he knows he is plunging her into darkness. A relationship with the moon over time feels like a heavy responsibility, but a relationship with the sun is a liberation. He is free to be human. He is free to have his own struggles, his own moments of distance, because he knows her light will not go out. He can be with her not out of a sense of duty to keep her happy, but out of a genuine, joyful desire to simply be near her incredible warmth. Her self-sufficiency is the greatest gift she can give to the connection because it sets him free. And this feeling of being admired for his presence but not needed for her survival is the final and most addictive element of profound peace. The feeling of profound peace, this magnetic quality of being your own sun, is not a personality trait you are born with. It is a garden you cultivate. It is an inner oasis that you consciously and deliberately choose to tend to every single day. This is the sovereign practice. It is the practical work of becoming the woman whose presence is the feeling he desires. This practice is a synthesis of the most powerful tools we have discussed, a unified method for creating peace, composed of 3 core disciplines. The first discipline is emotional composting. This is the work of tending to the soil of your inner world. You cannot have a peaceful garden if the ground is choked with the weeds of old resentments and unprocessed pain. As we have learned, this is the practice of taking your painful experiences, the lead, and transforming them into the gold of your own wisdom. It is the daily habit of releasing the heavy backpack of yesterday's grievances. When you feel a wave of resentment for a past hurt, you meet it not with resistance but with alchemical curiosity. You ask, what is the lesson here? What is the wisdom this pain has gifted me? By doing this, you are not a victim of your past. You are the alchemist of it. You are constantly clearing the soil, pulling the weeds, and creating a rich and fertile ground for peace to grow. The second discipline is radical self-attendance. This is the work of digging your own well, of ensuring your oasis is fed by its own deep internal spring. As we have discussed, this is the practice of turning inward, not outward, when you feel the first signs of anxiety or emotional distress. It is the art of self-soothing. When you feel a wave of loneliness or insecurity, your conditioned impulse is to reach for your phone, to seek his validation to make the feeling go away. The sovereign practice is to pause, to place a hand on your own heart, and to ask your own inner child, what do you need from me right now to feel safe? By becoming your own source of comfort, your own safe harbor, you are ensuring that the water in your well is always deep and clear. Your peace is no longer dependent on the weather of his moods or the frequency of his attention. It is sourced from the unshakable bedrock of your own self-devotion. The third discipline is inhabiting the sensual present. This is the work of actually living in your beautiful oasis, of savoring the fruits of your own garden. It is the practice of pulling your awareness out of the ghosts of the past and the fantasies of the future, and anchoring it in the rich, vibrant reality of the now. You do this by connecting with your 5 senses. You truly taste your morning coffee. You feel the warmth of the water on your skin in the shower. You listen, without distraction, to a piece of music that moves your soul. This is not a small practice. It is everything. By choosing to live in your body in the sensual world of the present moment, you are choosing to live where peace is actually found. Peace is not a future destination. It is a present tense experience. These 3 practices, when combined, create a powerful self-sustaining ecosystem of inner peace. You are constantly clearing the soil, deepening the well, and savoring the water. And the feeling of profound peace that a man finds so addictive is no longer something you are trying to create. It is simply the natural, effortless, and radiant atmosphere of the beautiful world you have built inside yourself. We began this journey with a radical proposition that a man does not fall in love with a woman, but with the feeling she gives him. We have deconstructed this mystery, revealing that this one, addictive and irresistible feeling, is a state of profound peace. And we have learned that this peace is the natural byproduct of a woman who has cultivated the 3 sacred gifts: the gift of no agenda, the gift of no drama, and the gift of her own fullness. And now we arrive at the final and most liberating reframe of all. The goal of this entire journey is not to learn how to give him this feeling of peace. That would simply be another, more sophisticated performance to add to your resume. It would be another act of the decorator trying to create a beautiful room for him to enjoy. The true work, the work of the architect, is to become this feeling for yourself. The goal is not to create a sanctuary for him. It is to so fully and completely inhabit your own inner sanctuary that your very presence becomes a beacon of peace to the world. The goal is not to be his source of peace. It is to be so rooted in your own peace that his soul is nourished by your overflow. Stop trying to be the woman he desires. That is an endless and exhausting game of guesswork. Instead, commit to becoming the peace that you yourself desire. Go to war for your own inner calm. Become a fierce and merciless guardian of your own well-being. Cultivate a life so beautiful, so full and so peaceful that you fall deeply and madly in love with your own presence. Do this, and you will discover the ultimate secret of attraction. The addiction he feels is not the goal, it is the symptom. The devotion he offers is not the prize, it is the echo. The prize is the quiet, unshakable and glorious peace that you have finally and completely claimed for yourself.